Hi there, welcome to Wyckoff near technical analysis session. So 2 weeks ago when we covered near, similar to what we have today, is still within the accumulation cycle of Wyckoff pattern. But then something happened over the past week that it seems to have deviated from the upward trend that it has been demonstrating for quite a long while. So let's quickly take a look from the charts what has happened. Let's start with the weekly chart because that's where the big moves are being indicated, and the weird move that happened last week was that the price dropped below this upward trend support. So this yellow dashed line was what I drawn 2 weeks back or even longer if you check the previous video. So it closed below it, meaning this uptrend is no longer going to continue like what it happened. So now it has become the resistance line instead. So that's why this week's this white cross over here, you see the top tip of the wick, once it hits that dashed line, it got pushed back down. So maybe that's going to provide near-term resistance to further climb of near. So it's not abnormal in terms of like a late stage or mid-late stage Wyckoff accumulation. So after a sign of strength, these kind of up and downs can happen. So I'm not sure there is, yeah, so after this we see a bit of decline before the actual pump towards the new buying climax happens. So don't be surprised if it really comes down while we hope for the price to stay above the uptrend. So now the question is, how do we adjust this indication, or how do we read this? Assuming it's finding support at this level, when we get to the daily chart, it will be clearer. I'll show you why I say it seems to be finding a good support between the two key levels of 1.83 and 2.69. So what we can do is to adjust this trend line, and let me move this test indicator, make sure it is tighter towards the tip of the wick, and then we can see what's being developed. Assuming for the next few weeks, if I do not have time to cover near, or if near doesn't get into any of the trending ranking in CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap, what do we expect, or what would they expect is if the trade or the price is going to be traded within this triangle. This tip over here is the beginning of November. A breakout has to happen, or will happen, before that date. So anytime from now till end of August, it has to break out. Whether it's going to break out to the upside or to the downside, it's too early to tell. I can add one more line here from the automatic rally, pointing all the way towards here. Not that I try to draw it towards the same point, but by connecting this tip of the wick and this tip of the wick, it's basically pointing us towards a similar date. So somewhere around early November. This is a pennant in candlestick pattern analysis. It does not indicate where the price will move next. Some analysts would say if it enters the pennant from the downside towards the upside, it will eventually break towards the upside. You can take that as a reference as well, but it's not always the case. And here, one more indication that I'll always share in my session is the Bollinger Band Curve squeeze indicator. So a squeeze means the purple lines got into the orange. So these staircase lines got into the smoother lines. And that has happened since almost early June or mid-June, depending on how straight you are towards the definition. Some people only consider something like mid-July when the purple is actually inside the orange. For me, when they get close enough, I consider a squeeze is starting. So we are already 77 days, 11 weeks into a squeeze. And that means a big swing is about to happen. Because in the weekly time frame, when a squeeze happens, usually the moves are way larger than a squeeze that happens within a daily time frame. So you see these crazy moves, right? That's what I'm referring to. So one caveat, if you're new to this indicator, don't always think when a squeeze happens, it's always going to the upside. You see the squeeze over here. It's pushing the price towards the downside. Much like this over here. That's a very sharp fall. Stronger than a roller coaster. So back to the overall picture. We are getting close to a breakout. Latest beginning of November. A squeeze has already happened, indicating a big swing is about to happen. And Wyckoff is telling us we are at least a mid stage of accumulation, if not a late stage. So if the price really break out towards the upside past the orange key level of 2.69, it's going to try to break above this dashed line as well, because that's a resistance line defined by these two stages, the automatic rally and the sign of strength. If it successfully break above and challenge this yellow line, that's yellow key level 3.73, that's the best scenario. If not, if it only trades sideways around the level of these two stages, that's still fine. That's a common behavior of the backup and last point of support period. That's where the platform being set and then the final rocket launch will happen. So let's see how it's going to develop, because of my change in schedule. If you go to my community post, you see what's going to come in basically starting tomorrow. So Near may not get into my sessions when this happens, but I'm telling it to you now so you can observe. And to the daily chart. Previously we have this sign of strength already locked in, and we basically put in these questions. Are we going to see the PSY and the backup LPS when we next come back, basically today's session? It hasn't happened, but then, okay, let me remove these channel boxes because they're not relevant anymore. What we are seeing now is, after these sign of strengths, it came down for some more tests. So these two tests, while it doesn't seem like it's indicating something, it's actually the thing I mentioned about it seems to find a pretty consistent support. If I draw a horizontal line, it will be very clear to you. My tongue is tied a bit, sorry about that. So here, that's the line I'm trying to talk about. Let's change the color so it's easier and enlarge it, so if you're on a mobile phone, it will be crystal clear. So see where it leads to, right to the left side. That's where the selling climax was. And this point over here, well, this go a little bit deep, but no worries. There are many reference points that's showing us this reference line, depending on where the price is, right? If it's above, that's a support line. If the price is below, that's a resistance line. You see how the price actions behave, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is the 8th time that the price touches that line, and fortunately it showed us it's a support this time, and the price didn't fall below it, and it's behaving pretty well, going along this uptrend. So let me adjust this line a little, this yellow line. So hopefully it's going to continue to trade within this ascending triangle. When that happens, if the textbook definition of candlestick pattern analysis is correct, this is a bullish sign, and the breakout may happen somewhere near the end or like before the end of October. So this line, let me change the color just to check. I think it's not okay. It's the same line over here, so it's consistent. That's good. So let's change it back to yellow. Remember, near the end of October, or like sometime between now and October, let's put it this way, when this finishes consolidating, it will eventually head towards the distribution. That's the wishful thinking. So let's put percentage. That's probably around 75%, I say. While, yeah, this is just the same. This is the process towards that 75% chance. While another chance, meaning the price doesn't follow this uptrend anymore, is 25% chance. So possibility is it's going to trade along this and pretty horizontal. That's the platform stage for backup and last point of support, and then boom, there it goes. That's the bullish scenario. Bearish, continue to trade sideways and hopefully staying above this blue line that I've drawn, this dashed horizontal line, and eventually reach to the backup and last point of support level. So I hope the squeeze doesn't push it towards the downside, because currently the price is trading at the lower half of the channels. So you see these candles are staying below the middle, the center line, right? So usually, not 100%, when the price is at the bottom, not bottom, like lower half of the channel, when the squeeze happens, it usually got pushed to the other edge of the channel. So that's where, like, what happens over here and there. So hopefully the price, when we see it's on the lower side of the channel, that's going towards swing towards the upside when the squeeze force finally is being released. So that's all for near for now. I don't know when I'll come back to near next, but hopefully when the price eventually climbs, we'll witness it and